Hey there! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that I know a lot of you plant lovers are going to appreciate: fast-growing indoor plants. Yep, if you're anything like me, you love seeing your plants thrive and grow as quickly as possible. These aren't just any plants, though. We're talking about the easiest, fastest-growing houseplants that'll have your space looking like a jungle in no time, without much effort. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned plant parent, these picks are perfect for adding some life to your home, fast. So grab your watering can, maybe a cup of coffee, and stick around. I'm going to walk you through my top 13 indoor plants that grow like crazy and are super easy to take care of. Let's get into it. Alright, plant number 1 is an absolute classic, Pothos. If you don't have one of these already, you're missing out. Pothos is basically the definition of set it and forget it. It's one of the fastest growing plants you can get for your home, and trust me, it'll fill a space quickly. Now, what's cool about Pothos is that it'll just keep growing. You can let those vines trail down from a shelf or hang it up in a planter, and it'll start to take over in the best way possible. It's super versatile too. Low light, bright light, it'll adapt. One thing to keep in mind, this guy grows so fast that you'll probably need to trim it back every once in a while. And the best part? You can propagate those cuttings in water and grow even more Pothos plants for free. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Just snip a piece, stick it in water, and boom! Within a few weeks, you'll have roots sprouting. It's seriously that easy. Plus, it adds a great vibe to your space without much effort. Alright, next up is the Hoya. Now, if you're looking for something that grows fast and looks a little more unique, the Hoya's your plant. These guys have these thick, waxy leaves that just scream a low maintenance, but they'll reward you with some pretty impressive growth. Hoya might not be as mainstream as something like Pothos, but don't sleep on this one. It can start to vine out just as quickly once it's comfortable. Plus, with the right care, it might even surprise you with clusters of little star-shaped flowers that smell amazing. What's cool about Hoya is how adaptable it is. Give it some bright, indirect light, and it'll start to take off. These plants don't mind drying out between waterings either. So if you're someone who tends to forget a watering here and there, the Hoya's totally forgiving. Once it starts growing, you'll notice it sending out these long vines, which you can train to climb or let them trail, totally up to you. And like the Pothos, Hoyas are super easy to propagate. Snip off a vine, pop it in water, and pretty soon you'll have a new plant. Now, let me introduce you to one of my favorites, Begonias. These plants don't just grow fast, they're showstoppers. I mean, just look at those leaves. They're bold and colorful and can add a real pop of personality to any space. And here's the thing, there's a ton of variety when it comes to begonias. Whether you're going for those wild, colorful leaves like the Rex begonia, or you want something that flowers like the wax begonia, these plants grow fast and look amazing while doing it. Begonias are super versatile. They thrive in bright, indirect light, but can also tolerate lower light spots. And they're not super picky about humidity. Just make sure the soil stays slightly moist, not soaked, and you're golden. Honestly, if you give them the right conditions, they'll explode with growth. Check this out. These leaves are where begonias really shine. Not only do they grow quickly, but they also come in these wild colors and patterns. It's like having living artwork in your house. Plus, some varieties, like the cane begonias, will even flower if they're happy. Next up, we've got the Philodendron. Now, this one's a crowd favorite, and for good reason. These plants grow fast, like really fast, and they're basically indestructible. If you want a plant that's going to give you some serious growth without a lot of fuss, Philodendron is your plant. What's great about philodendrons is how quickly they start to fill a space. Whether you've got a climbing variety or a trailing one like this, it's going to grow fast. And those lush, green vines will make your home look like an indoor jungle in no time. These guys are super versatile. You've got trailing types like the Philodendron Brazil or Heartleaf. And then there are upright types, like the Splitleaf or Saloom. Both grow crazy fast, but the trailing ones are perfect for hanging baskets or letting them cascade from a shelf. Alright, plant number 5 is one that's a bit flashier. Tradescantia, also known as the Wandering Dude. This plant is a fast grower, and it brings some serious color to your home. I mean, look at those purple and green stripes. It's like nature's version of a neon sign. Tradescantia grows fast, like really fast. If you give it the right conditions, it'll trail all over the place. I love how it drapes down from shelves or hanging baskets, and those colors, they just keep getting better as they grow. This plant is super easy to take care of. It likes bright, indirect light, and the more light it gets, the more vibrant the colors. It's pretty tolerant, though. It'll handle lower light, but you might lose some of that intense purple. Water it when the top of the soil dries out, and you're good to go. And just like our other fast-growing plants, Tradescantia is a propagation pro. All you've got to do is pinch off a piece, stick it in water, and boom, roots will start growing in no time. You'll have a whole army of these plants before you know it. Okay, plant number 6, the rubber plant. Now, this one's for those of you looking to bring some serious height and drama to your space. Look at this guy. It's tall, bold, and grows fast. If you've got some room to fill, the rubber plant is the way to go. This plant can shoot up like crazy when it's happy. We're talking several feet in a couple of years, and those big, leathery leaves, they make a statement. Plus, it's one of those plants that looks a bit high-end, but is super low maintenance. To keep this one growing fast, give it bright, indirect light, and make sure you don't overwater it. Rubber plants don't love sitting in soggy soil. Let it dry out between waterings, and you'll be surprised at how quickly it grows. And if you want it to get bushier, you can prune the top to encourage it to branch out. Also, these leaves are like dust magnets, so every once in a while, give them a wipe down. Not only will it help the plant breathe, but it'll also keep those glossy leaves looking fresh. Alright, next up is Natal Ivy. Now, you might not have heard of this one as much as some of the others, but trust me, this plant grows like crazy. If you want something fast-growing and super easy to take care of, Natal Ivy is a solid choice. This is one of those plants that just takes off once it's settled in. Whether you let it trail down a shelf, train it to climb, or hang it up, Natal Ivy fills out fast and gives you that full, leafy look in no time. What's great about Natal Ivy is how low maintenance it is. It's not super picky. It'll do well in bright, indirect light, but it can handle some shade too. Just keep the soil slightly moist, and it'll reward you with tons of new growth. You might even need to give it a trim here and there to keep it under control. And just like with our other fast-growing plants, Natal Ivy is a breeze to propagate. Snip off a section, stick it in water, and pretty soon you'll have roots growing. It's a great way to fill out your space or share with friends. Alright folks, plant number 8 is the Arrowhead Plant, also known as Syngonium. If you're looking for a fast-growing indoor plant that's got a unique look, this is definitely one to consider. Just look at those leaves, aren't they cool? The Arrowhead Plant is a fast grower that can really fill out a space. These leaves start out as little arrows and can grow to be quite large, giving you that lush look without much effort. It's a great choice for beginners. Now, the care for this plant is super straightforward. It thrives in bright, indirect light, but can tolerate lower light conditions, though it may not grow quite as fast. Keep the soil slightly moist, but make sure it drains well. This plant doesn't like soggy roots. And if you want it to be fuller, just pinch off the tips occasionally. This encourages branching, and before you know it, you'll have a dense, bushy plant. Plus, it's a fun way to get to know your plant better. Next, plant number 9 is the Kangaroo Fern. Now, if you're looking for a fast-growing indoor plant that brings a bit of a wild vibe to your space, this is the one. Just look at those beautiful fronds. They're so distinct. Kangaroo ferns grow pretty quickly once they're settled in, and they have this lush, bushy look that makes them perfect for adding greenery to any corner of your home. The best part? They're super forgiving and easy to care for. They love humidity. So, if you live in a dry climate, you might want to mist them every now and then or set them on a pebble tray with water. Bright, indirect light is best for them, but they can handle some shade too. Maintenance is a breeze. Just trim away any brown or dead fronds, and you're good to go. This helps keep your kangaroo fern looking fresh and healthy. Plant number 10 is the nerve plant, or Phytonia, as some folks call it. This one's for those of you who love a little splash of color in your life. Just look at those vibrant leaves. They're like nature's art right in your home. Nerve plants may be small, but they grow quickly and can fill up a pot nicely. They love to spread out and create that lush, green look with their eye-catching veins. It's like having a little piece of the tropics indoors. Now, taking care of a nerve plant is pretty straightforward. They thrive in bright, indirect light, but can handle some low light too. Just keep the soil consistently moist, not soggy, because they don't like to dry out completely. If you notice the leaves drooping, it's usually a sign they need a drink. Humidity is key for these guys. They love a humid environment, so if your home is on the dry side, give them a misting every few days. You'll see them perk right back up. Alright, plant number 11 is the striped inch plant, also known as Tradescantia zebrina. This one is a total eye-catcher. With those silver and purple stripes, it adds a whole lot of personality. And the best part, it grows fast, like really fast. Look at those colors. It's not just the speed that makes this plant awesome, but how the stripes really pop. If you want something that grows fast and looks amazing, this is it. Plus those vines, they'll keep trailing, so before you know it, your plant's taken over the space. So let's talk care. These guys love bright, indirect light. The more light they get, the more vibrant those stripes become. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry, but make sure it's in a pot with good drainage. Striped inch plants don't like wet feet. And here's a cool tip. This plant is super easy to propagate. Just snip off a piece, pop it in some water, and you'll have roots in no time. It's perfect for sharing or filling out your space with more plants. Alright, plant number 12 is the Dainty Crassula. Now, don't let the name fool you. This little guy might look delicate, but it's a fast grower and a tough one at that. Perfect for those who want something small, but that grows quickly and adds a ton of charm to any spot. Dainty Crassula grows fast, especially for a succulent. Unlike some slow growers, this one will fill out its pot in no time, and because of its compact growth habit, it's great for small spaces, on a desk, windowsill, or even part of a succulent arrangement. Like most succulents, this plant loves bright light, so give it a sunny spot and watch it thrive. Water it sparingly once the soil's completely dry, and make sure it's in a pot with good drainage. This little plant doesn't need much water to stay happy. Another cool thing? Dainty Crassula is super easy to propagate. Just take a small cutting, or even a fallen leaf, stick it in some well-draining soil, and it'll root pretty quickly. Soon enough, you'll have even more of these little beauties. Alright folks, last but definitely not least, the purple passion vine. This plant is a real stunner. I mean, look at those leaves, the deep purple color, the soft fuzz. It's like nothing else on this list, and it grows fast. This is one of those plants that's as unique as it is easy to grow. Purple passion vine has this amazing velvety texture, and that bold purple color really pops against any background. It's a fast grower, so once it gets going, it'll start trailing down or even climbing up if you give it something to grab onto. You're not going to miss this plant in your home, that's for sure. Now, to keep this guy happy, give it bright, indirect light. That'll really bring out that purple. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. And like many plants, make sure it's got good drainage. It doesn't need a lot of fuss, but it does appreciate a little extra humidity, so keep that in mind. And if you want it to grow even fuller, don't be afraid to pinch back the growing tips. This will encourage it to branch out and give you a more dense, bushy plant. Before long, you'll have a gorgeous cascade of purple leaves. So there you have it, 13 of the fastest growing, easiest indoor plants to bring some life and greenery into your space. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned plant parent, these are sure to give you that lush, green vibe in no time. Thanks so much for watching. If you found a new favorite or got some inspiration, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more plant tips. And hey, drop a comment and let me know which one you're excited to add to your collection. Happy growing!